Get the recording. Okay, well, welcome everybody. I'm, of course, your host, Will Cooper, broadcasting live from one of the branch offices of Berkshire Hathaway here on 2534 South Dorothy Street in Hurricane, Utah. So getting around on the corners of our market and footprint that we have, which is fantastic. Thanks for joining me today. It's all about teams. So no, we're not going to break down the BYU Utah game. We're not going to do that. It's tempting. No, we won't do it. We're going to talk everything about teams today. So we're going to be on page 198 in their coaching manual. I do have it pulled up here for the screen. We'll probably do a little screen sharing this morning. You know, we're going to, some of you, you ask, should I start a team? Or I have a team, is it working well? Should I join a team? So there's all these levels of questions that, you contemplate. There are 4 or 5 pages to this chapter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages to this chapter. I'm going to try to cover them all pretty fast. So this is going to be more of an overview, I suppose. And then we could maybe dive in deeper a little bit later. On the top of page 198, let's start off with just let's get a running start at this, but start off with some really basic understandings. First of all, I want you to write down, you already have a team. Okay. You already have a team. That's why you're at Berkshire Hathaway. There's 60 employees counting, leadership, staff. There's 60 of us. So you already have a team. So the question is whether or not we're using that team effectively. So, you have a legal team, okay? You have a legal team and compliance. You have technology, you've got marketing, social media, admin, accounting. You have all of this as part of this great team that we have. And so I don't want to skip that point that we, somehow have to build something ourselves. Now, look, there are a lot of models out there in the industry that put all the weight of building a business on the agent themselves, which is why the public so often thinks we're not worth 6%, frankly, because brokerages are a lot more equipped to scale businesses than the single agent will ever be. It's the economics of it. Okay. So don't buy into that. I mean, that's one thing. It's great, it's the advantage we have at Berkshire. Okay. It's a higher level of professionalism. Okay. We're getting serious about being better. We're not serious about being cheaper. Okay. And saving money is often disguised as losing money. Okay. Really losing money. So I've got a couple of things here that I, just kind of starting off with. Like, for example, what's the first thing a business does after they have a great idea? What do you think? They have a great idea. They have a concept. I think we could, if they have a vision. It's not alive. Maybe they don't even know if they can do it. But what's the first thing that they do? Don't overthink it. Just what is the first thing people do after they have a good idea?
Run it by their team.
Okay, they're getting collaboration. They're involving people. To Tom's point, look, the broader the collaboration, the better the solution. Okay, that's why we need each other. Like, we need perspective. Okay, the broader the collaboration, the better the solution. So really important to involve people who care about the outcome. Like, this is where government probably could, could we get some politicians to join this discussion this morning? Okay, so let me say this. That's not quite, so collaboration, very true. Very good point. I'm trying to get at something here. What does a business have to do next after they've got collaboration, an idea, a concept, a vision? What do they do? So Kimberly says they're going to find a way to make it scalable. Okay, good. So again, I'm going to put that in the idea category. So they're going to map this out. So what do they do next?
Strategy, tactics.
Okay, say again, Steve.
Strategy, tactics. Implement.
Yeah, okay, so they're going to start building, and I love Steve reminding me of this definition of a tactic, and I love that. Tactics support strategies. So again, I'm going to put all of that in the idea phase. They've got an idea, a strategy, how they're going to win. They've got tactics. They've involved everybody. They're starting to put together, again, the idea. This is where we are now, the plan in which we can, what do they have to do? I think Nick may have got it here, guys. they got to figure out funding. They're going to raise money. Okay. But this is just part of the stepping stones here. What are they going to use the money for? So that's probably the heart of the matter. What are they going to use the money for? Anybody want to answer? What are we going to use this money for? We're going to rate. Look, you build holders together. You get stock options. You got all this formality to it. There's a cash call, and everyone raises money. Maybe it's personal. Maybe it's an investor. So what are they going to do?
Marketing
with this money. And Aaron, if you're going to market, how do you go about doing that?
Advertising.
Who's gonna place the advertising and create the marketing?
I don't know. I'm driving.
Yeah, right. Don't wreck. Okay, they're gonna raise money because they're gonna hire people. So you get this idea, vision, strategy, concept, buy-in, all the things you guys were saying. That's all idea. That's residing in a vision, status. So once you get all this, you get people together and you say, we need to raise money, create a team. These are people. Okay, that's the start of the team, the ownership team. And then we're going to raise money. Why? Because we're going to hire more what? People. Because people are going to come up with marketing messages and slogans and looks and feels, right? Social media, video, right? Technology that's needed, platforms that are needed, okay? Processes of how we generate a lead and a customer and close the customer, how we deliver the product. I could go on and on and on. But big businesses hire people. That's the deal, right? So would they hire a team? We are no different on the basic level of how we run our business. We are the same in many, many aspects of major businesses. In other words, the more people you have around you on your team, the more likely you are not only to succeed, but to scale, okay? So the opposite is also true. The less people you involve on your team, the more likely you are to have struggles with scalability, okay? Now, we started off and I said, look, if you only took away one thing today, it would be, I already have a team. That's what, if you only had one thing to take away, it would be, I already have a team. Okay. I already have a team around me. Now, today we're going to go into, well, what if we want to build on top of the team we already have? That's what we're going to dive into. Okay. Great open discussion. Thanks, guys. Let's go to page 198. Here, I'm going to fly through some of these things that might be on your mind. Like things like, do you have time to engage your past clients? If the answer to that is no, you need to add human capital. You need to hire people, okay? Are you struggling keeping up with returning phone calls and emails? Then you may need to hire someone. Remember Jeff Foxworthy, you might be a redneck?
Yeah.
Okay, you may need a team member if, like, you haven't had a vacation, okay? Okay, like if it's a big deal for you to step away from your phone for an hour and you can hardly handle it, yeah, you might need a team member, okay? Does your business database need cleaning up and prioritized and things like that? You can hire this. You may need to hire someone there. Are you sending valuable information to your client base? So look, and I'm saying it's valuable. So, well, where's the data? Well, we have it, right? But are you executing it? If you're not, you may need to bring somebody in to your world. What about things like social media posts that are meaningful? Are you adding your own personal touch, right, Joe? I mean, you're not automating this. You can't automate relationships, guys. You're going to create relationships. It's got to be you. You got to be authentic, but do you have the time to do it? And if you don't have the time to do it, again, you may be needing someone to add to your business. Okay. Are you turning down business or leads that you don't have time to deal with? Okay, again, another reminder, we may need a teammate. Okay, and then has your family forgotten what you look like? I mean, if they're I think that's my dad. I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while. If that so, okay, I'll try to improve the humor and jokes here. And does a vacation sound like a fantasy? Okay, you probably need a teammate. Brian Buffini in one of our seminars stood up in front of all of us and asked if we were happier. Do you guys remember this? Does anyone remember that? It was it's like 4 or 5 years ago. It was a Brookshire, but he said, "Are we happy?" He said, "You guys are making more money, but are you happier?" It's another one of those, hard to matter questions. I guess everyone's going, "Well, I thought I was happy," and now he's like, "You're not happy." like talk about a demotivational speaker. But it was really a good observation that just because you make more money, you may not be happier. And so, maybe we need to relook at our life, and are we finding, some balance in things. I've talked a lot before in other coaching sessions about the concept of rest and run. A lot of times when I'm coaching you guys one-on-one, the first thing I even offer up is, hey, grab your calendar and let's schedule a vacation. That's odd. Why would you do that? You would think that I would say, okay, when's our first open house? How come we're not, calling more people every day? Maybe that would be the first thing you would think. But often it's like, okay, let's set our short range goals between here and there. And then, that's the rest. Okay. So you get your, this weekend down in San Paulo, one reason I'm down here is that this weekend they're doing the World Championship Ironman. 3-mile swim in San Paulo, 150 miles of bike ride, then a marathon. Okay. If you ever try to do something even remotely like that, you have to have short range goals. You have to have aid stations along the way. You got to be able to rest along the way. Okay. All right. Let's bring us down then into the bottom of page 198. I'm asking questions like, is your income plateaued? I'm asking you also, like, what are your time drains? What are your weaknesses? Are you finding you're really good at some things and not others? This is all these are great indicators that it might be time for you to partner with or to bring someone in. Okay. Other things like part-time assistance maybe is another step. Or at the bottom of that page, have you considered just partnering with another agent? And partnering doesn't always mean 50-50. And I am going to spend a lot of time on numbers today. Just so you know, it's 2 pages away. We're going to break down often how we're compensated and paid in these scenarios. So it's something you can think about. On the top of page 199, I want you guys to know look, Lance May and I Lance authored a lot of what's in here, by the way. This is a lot of his typing. And he started off with this draft and we bounced it around for a while. And of course, marketing made it look pretty. But I can tell you that from a leadership standpoint, Roni's all the way down through all of us, we set an objective to be the best, most supportive brokerage when it comes to teams. Okay. Now that means we need to change some policy. That means we need to have some flexibility around some things, especially how it deals with compensation. But Berkshire Hathaway believes in leverage, human capital, and scalability. Okay. And if we believe in that, we've got to be committed. Okay. Not just allowing it. Oh, it's okay. We don't like it, but it's okay. No. We believe in it. It's the only way to build a business is through these concepts. And so therefore we're committed to building teams. If it's right for you, it's not right for everyone, be clear about that. But if it is right, we're committed to it. Okay. So it means we need to adjust some of our policy, and I'm going to talk about that. Okay. Fire alarm at Old Mill. Okay, great. Well, I'm glad that they got the coaching email. So, okay. I think that's why we just lost so many people. All right. But we'll truck on here. Okay. During the fire. All right. So
just so it's clear, it's a planned fire alarm. It's not that there's been notices for the last 2 weeks. So it's not an actual fire. This is a planned fire drill.
Okay. Thanks, Joe. No fire.
Yeah. Everyone's going to be okay. It's part of the plan.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Another thing to consider about you, particularly if you're going to be a team lead, is I would ask you if you're the rainmaker. In other words, are you creating leads? Okay. If you've got an ability to create more leads than you can handle, it's probably time for you to build some conduits of people around you and build a team. But there are also things about mentoring or solving problems, training, guiding others, running a business. You may need to take ownership of how processes work, which is like software platforms, lead generation, client follow-up, things like that. Some of this stuff can be delegated, obviously, but in the beginning, when you're building a business, you got to go pick the person and then give them the role, train them on what you want, and then let them go. Okay, so there's some more, detail to some of this. Some agents have split up full-time assistants that wear a couple of different hats: database, lead generation, marketing, social media, things like that, stay in touch campaigns, and they kind of have a plethora, and they're sharing, say, a staff person on a team. But teams are more than just hiring an assistant. So let's continue on here. Down at the bottom of 199, I think if you're telling me I'm feeling all these things are indicating I need to probably consider building a team, then I would start having you make your vision and plan. So when I started off, I said, what do businesses first do? We have an idea. Well, then I need the idea written out in goal, strategy, tactics. Now you can go to the beginning of the workbook and look at all the goal setting patterns. They're already outlined for you, but they're blank. You have to fill them in. Okay, so what is the strategies? Where can you win? What are the tactics that support your strategies? And that's a good tie-in to how we build a business plan. Okay, all right, let's go over to 200 and these outlines. Okay, so first of all, we kind of have this HR need where you're going to be looking for someone who might be able to fit with you, work with you, personality matches and stuff like that. That's why the DISC assessment is kind of mentioned there. This might be a good starting point. In other words, you don't want to hire 4 quarterbacks. Bringing in 2 more quarterbacks when you're already a great quarterback is not building a good team. So you're kind of looking for people who have strength where your weaknesses are. Okay, it's probably stating the obvious there, but don't skip over that. I think a lot of times agents make a mistake. They bring somebody in because they're very friendly with this person. They have great, friendship with them, but it doesn't really solve the problem where the weakness is for the agent. You guys understand what I mean by that? I mean, it's great to be friends and all of that, but you're kind of looking for someone who's strong in your weak areas, ideally. Okay. Now look, there's probably an exception to every rule also, because I could make an argument that when you go on vacation, we need someone as strong as you or can be you when you're not there. So I get that. And that's another thing to think about, because teams can have more than, 1 more member or 2 more members even. Okay. So something to think about. There's also a warning here. Go down to where it says sellers not always sold on teams. It's because they can often feel lost or pawned off, like you just handed them over to someone. So you got to be very, very careful about how you structure your message and the roles you play. Like, what role do you play on a team related to your client? And be very clear about that. So again, that's going to point back to what your plan is. Okay. I'd highly, highly recommend having periodic team meetings. Matter of fact, is Jill Stringham on? You guys, do you see her? She usually does join these. I don't know of anyone better than having a cadence and a consistency at having team meetings than Jill Stringham. She's just been fantastic at this. And it's a great way to come together with ideas and problems and then build solutions around them. And she's got a lot of people which could take on different roles, so she doesn't have to do it all. But think about what that means to your time schedule and how you're working your week. It means you're going to carve out time for periodic meetings.
She's on in the car, Will. She's on in the car.
I'm right here.
Okay. Oh, hi, Jill.
I'm right here.
Okay.
Hi.
Don't wreck.
I'm dressed and showered.
Oh, yay. All right. Well, congratulations.
Yay for me.
Maybe on the coaching call, we need to have a wheel that we spin for those who have their video on who've showered, and we have a giveaway for that. Anyway, Jill, how often do you have your team meetings?
I have 3. I have a Zoom call on Tuesdays for an hour. It's usually a training class, and then I have an in-person from 1 to 3 every Wednesday. And then I have a team huddle on Fridays, which is at 9 o'clock for anybody that wants to bring something to the team to learn from or whatever. So it's 3 times a week, every week.
Well, see, there you go. That's what I mean. Jill's been very, very good at having some consistency in the team. I think you could probably say that there's good friendships, there's trust there in that team. It's a comfort zone, which we often need, you know, in this business, especially when we get started. She's been fantastic at that. Let's move down the page. We're about halfway through our time, and I wanted to spend a lot of time on how we compensate and pay, because that will answer a lot of your questions. There's issues of office space and how you physically work together, which can be, you know, look, we want to accommodate these needs. I think across the board, if there's a need for someone to come in consistently and use our offices, we want to accommodate that. Office space is frankly driven by production. It's the only fair way to do it. But we also have some people have more production, don't need the space. So sometimes, you know, we might have a little bit of flexibility on that. So talk to your broker about what your needs are if you want to work together physically in the same, you know, area of your office. Okay, so something else to consider. I did put an idea down there on about 20 these team events and things that can go on. Are like client appreciation events, which you could delegate to someone to take a lead on. You know, Brooke is nodding her head. Like, why not just say, hey, you know, for the holidays this year, we've got this Thanksgiving and Christmas. We'd really like to thank our past clients. I could say, hey, Brooke, why don't you take the lead on that? Discover what our options are and some costs and bring it to our team meeting. And let's see what fits us and see if we can't get a collaboration on what a solution would be. These have turned out to be great things to build relationships. They're in person. It's a great way for you to build on the relationships you've had and don't lose touch of past clients and friends you've made. But the point about the team here is that you can hand that lead off to someone else and say, will you take the lead on? You know, you can do this a lot of different things. You take a lead on our social media campaign. We take a lead on how we deal with our market reports. We take a lead on what can we do to have valuable information delivered to our past clients, you know, something that's meaningful to them that isn't just always saying, hey, I want your business, you know. As a matter of fact, let me say something that there's a Brookshire way here, okay? I don't like salespeople, okay? I don't want us to be salespeople. I want us to be good people. And I want us to be very good professionals. I want like the best, okay? If you just do your job really, really well, trust me, you don't have to ask for the business. And sometimes asking for the business sounds self-serving. I'm just saying, okay? I'd rather you be so loud in how good you are and never ask for a business ever than ask for business all the time and be poor at what you do. You see what I'm saying? We should just be absolutely excellent in our profession. And that will be so loud. You don't have to ask all the time, you know, and it's all in how you do it. Like the other day I had someone say to me, well, this agent called up and congratulated me. And they said, by the way, I have to tell you, Will, and it wasn't one of our agents. Okay. They said they did a great job. Okay. And they're not complaining about the job the agent did. The agent called up and congratulated them on moving in. And then, and he said, you know, we're having this really nice conversation. And then all of a sudden they said, by the way, I would love referrals and can you refer me? And I know we do this all the time. Okay. And maybe it was the personalities. I submit to that, you know, rubs people wrong sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. Okay. And look, I think if you deposit a lot into a relationship, you get a lot more leeway. Okay. But if you ever come off like it's all about you, you just told the client that, okay? So one time when I was, this is my first couple of years at Stringham, I had a student say, you know, you're a fantastic teacher, but I can't tell whether that's because you really care about the student or whether you just want to be the best teacher. And I thought, why is that even any different? And then I realized what they were saying. Like, are you just trying to be a star? It's all about you? Or are you really invested in the student? So look, I don't think you ask for business all the time. Okay. Look, and I've been doing this. Bring me the argument if you want. Okay. I get it. This is 32 years in this business. Okay. And I have trained and coached thousands of agents. And I'm telling you, if you're better off being amazing at what you do, Okay, so this is back to this, but how do I delegate that? Where does the team come into all this? Well, everything is so heavy and there's so many things going on you could do. You're going to have to find ways to delegate these things and take the lead on things, okay? Any comments on that? I got a little passionate about that because I heard about this story of an agent who did a great job. They call up to say, congratulations on moving in. And they're having this nice conversation. Then all of a sudden they said, oh, and by the way, will you please refer me? And then all of a sudden the client goes, oh, okay. So this is just like, this is about you then. And I'm like, was he being too harsh? Maybe so. But was the agent being all about the sales? Probably so. So something to consider. Okay. All right. I mean, maybe that's just an adjustment in the needle. If you have a comment, put it in the chat. Karen, you're asking about the DISC assessment. Yeah, you could Google that. It's really common. I think there's four personalities there that will help. So yeah, bad timing on the question, probably, Julie. Yeah, I think it was, yeah. I mean, what an emotionally positive day for someone moving into a new home in this crazy world, and what it took to get there. And then it was say, hey, give me a referral. Maybe it was the timing. Okay. Okay, let's go to page 201. So, and I got to tell you some of these things that are in the policy procedures and some of them are not. So we're going to have a little bit of notation here, but it says a business plan must be submitted to your manager broker for approval before starting a team. It's not specifically in the policies and procedures like this have to kind of thing. It's more of like highly suggested, like why not involve Kevin or Craig or Sharon or Kim and, or Will in your discussion? I mean, why would you not do that? But that's kind of where that's coming from. The next one is each team member should be required to meet with the manager. I think this is more to say, hey, do you guys have an exit strategy while you still love each other? Sorry. Like write your, what a great way to start a relationship. Like, honey, before we get married, I think we should write our divorce decree. Okay. That's probably not a great way to start, but you know what? When you're starting a real estate team, it's a great place to start. You got to talk about, well, what happens when we break up, right? If you do it while you love each other, really good. Okay. Not so good the other way. Okay. And you can kind of tell the brokerage does not want to play referee. Like really, we don't.
The brokers do not like to play referee.
No.
I refuse, actually. I go right to their agreement and say what you agreed to back then when you were friends. That's what we're doing.
Yep.
No discussion here.
Exactly. Because it's a no-win situation for us. The thing is, we love you both. And sometimes we get this, what side, was Kevin on? I mean, it is no side. There's one side. It's us as a family, So we're screaming this pretty loud to make sure you get your team agreement in writing. Yeah, Craig.
I prefer to meet with them ahead of time when they're forming the team to make sure that everyone understands the agreement. And it's real easy to have misunderstandings ahead of time.
Yeah.
So it's better to nail all that down and make sure both parties understand, what they're getting into.
Yeah. Talking about our team here and kind of the correlation we have to other businesses, Craig Lelis is on your board of directors. Like he's part of your board. He's invested in you and your business. So he has a, not only is his heart in it because he loves you as a person, and we all do, but we have an invested interest, don't we? So why would you not go to your board members and ask them for their input and their collaboration, their ideas? So that's the part of that first 3 paragraphs on page 201.
Yeah. Hey, Will.
Yeah, Steve. Yes.
Here's some things I think that are helpful. Like
Yes.
we have in our agreement, exit strategy. It could not only be because leaving, but we have a health component that we also have a component if someone gets pregnant, if someone just like you said, you know what? It's the exit strategy and what ifs that if this occurs, how do you handle that? Yeah.
Very, very good. And if you guys don't know this, Steve Chin is part of the I think I could say the most productive real estate team in Berkshire Hathaway franchise.
They were last year the #1 large team in the entire network.
Okay, so I think we should probably listen to what Steve is
Oh,
saying.
No, we get lucky.
Yeah. You know, the point here is that we have this all worked out prior, you know, and it just creates a really good working environment. It builds trust, you know. Sometimes really honest people just frankly forget what they agreed to, right, guys? You know, I mean, it's not about, oh, you know, that's not truthful. No, it isn't even about that. It's about the fact that they forgot.
Well, one of the things I always encourage people when they come to me is, hey, you guys just decided this last week that you guys are going to team up, and I want to find out what their goal is. Is it to increase production? Is it to create more free time? Is it to, you know, work together and learn from each other? Or is it just, hey, I need somebody to save me because I'm not doing well in the business? That's not the reason to get married. So it should be a mutual beneficial relationship. And I always encourage them sometimes, why don't you just do a few co-listings together? Let's date for a while, find out if you like each other before we get married, so that we don't have a divorce, you know, a month later. Let's do a couple of transactions together, see how you work together, see how you interact, make sure the division of labor is equal and that you're actually, you know, bringing some, you know, mutual benefit to each other. If not, you don't want to get married to this person. So let's form the team a few months later after you've had a chance to do a little trial run.
I love it. I love it. And I can see where this might backfire on us, Kev. We might have agents coming to us saying, hey, I'm dating Steve. Oh, well, congratulations, you two. I hope it works out. You know, does your wife know you're dating Steve? So really good point though, you guys. Okay, let's go down. Let's get the 201 here and then how we break down some compensation, things to think about. I'm on kind of paragraph 3 there on 201, and then 4. This is to Kevin's point and Craig's point about if you meet together, everyone has a clear understanding of what the agreement is. So we're assuming now that we have an agreement. And, oh, by the way, Mark O'Brien and I talked a couple of weeks ago. One of our teams, look, we've been avoiding writing team agreements. And so I brought it to Mark. Why would the brokerage not want to involve to get into team agreements? Well, it's clear, you know, like we don't want to be blamed for, well, that's not really what I want to do. But there's another problem here. We've got teams that are pulling agreements from we don't even know where. So the other side of this is they're very poor agreements, or they're trying to write them themselves. And, you know, and some of them don't even match our policies and procedures. So they're at conflict. So look, we're going to have a base, simple base team agreement that you can use. Okay. And we're working on that. So we'll call it another legal asset that you can pull down and use if you want to build a team, and the company will have that for you. And then you can build upon the specifics from there. Okay. So you might want to make a note of that. That's coming. I think we probably have that out this week or next week. We've been working on it for a while, and we're keeping it simple, you guys, keeping it very simple. Okay. But we're going to dig into these things like E&O, which is the next paragraph there, and tech fees. The model that we employ here is the subsidy of these fees or these technologies. So, you know, the company dollar is really what's funding the majority of our technologies. The marketing fee and the E&O are subsidies to these. So there is some participation on the agent level. There have been, and I know I'm being recorded, but in true transparency here, if the higher your production is, okay, first of all, everyone pays E&O, okay, across the board. Every single licensee pays E&O. If they don't pay E&O, they're not covered. You don't want to be not covered, okay? So no matter what the production, everyone pays E&O. On tech fees, when the teams are really, really large, we have done some ratios there. And I'm going to leave that up to your managers to talk to you about that. But we're talking about teams who have, say, 6 members, 8 members. You might want to talk to your manager about how that looks, if team lead is paying those tech fees and how they're paying them. Okay, that's something to consider. Let's see, what is that? 6 here. When team okay. Let's see. I wanted to get to some of these are pretty self-explanatory. I'll get to overrides in just a second. We're just the 195 is just a reminder. Credit cards on files. I don't want this to sound like policies and procedures, but okay, go down to where it says team lead shall provide commission authorization breakdown for every transaction. We still require that because some of these are not all cookie cutter. For example, if you started off your team agreement with, say, a 50-50 partnership because you did fall in love with Steve, so you did get married to Steve, and you did a 50-50 marriage, but maybe on this particular one, you said, well, look, Steve goes, well, that's your family. I had not very little to do with that. Let's do a 25-75. We still wait for the team lead to do the commission authorizations. Okay, so there is some flexibility in each one of these transactions, and we'll wait for you guys to sign off on that. Okay. I already talked about space. Let's go to page 202. Okay. All right. It says the managing broker will determine commission splits for a new team or hires, but really what we're talking about here is that you as a team lead cannot pay a higher commission rate to the agent than what they would have earned if they were not on your team. Okay. And actually, this is a really big benefit to team leads because I'm kind of looking at Tom here. Tom, if you added someone to your team and they were a brand new agent, they're 70-30 regardless of whether they're on your team or not. So sometimes people say, well, I'm paying Tom. Okay, well, you'd be paying the brokerage or you'd be paying Tom and the brokerage. So it really is the same. It's the same split for you. You guys all understand that? So you can't you couldn't take a brand new agent and pay them 85. Okay, we're not going to allow you to do that. But inside of the structure, there's a built-in compensation for our team lead. Because frankly, remember I said Berkshire Hathaway is very committed to scalability and building teams. We're committed. We're so committed that we're willing to give part of the company dollar to the team lead. Okay, we're just carving it out of the brokerage company dollar and paying it to the team lead. Okay, so it doesn't cost the team member anything to join a team. It's the same thing. As a matter of fact, there's usually benefits to the team member to join a team. Okay, so that's what that rule is. This is a way for us to really put our money where our mouth is. Do we believe in leverage? Absolutely. Do we believe in delegation and scalability? Absolutely. And we're willing to help pay for it. Okay. So we call that kind of the override idea. There's a team leader split sample in the middle of page 202, where let's say team lead is at 85. Example is the company closed at 10,000. So what does the team member get? The team lead person would have $1,700 from that transaction, and the team member would have $6,800. And then we would subtract out, of course, franchise fees and anything else that might be a fee. But for simple math, that's how that breaks down. So team lead in this scenario is already generating $1,700 from a team member. Now, just a little more detail to this. In that scenario, it's most of our team agreements, not all, but I'd say 9 out of 10. That's a lead that was generated by the team member. Okay, not through some joint marketing or marketing effort campaign that was funded by the team lead. Are you guys with me? I hope I'm not. Is this too detailed or detailed enough? Or is this maybe I'm looking for some feedback here. This is where I wish we were in a live room so I knew if I'm giving you what you want to have answered. Yes? Okay, I'll just make a huge assumption that we are. So if I'm not, hit the chat, okay? Look, let's write another one here. If the team lead is funding marketing or projects or whatever, okay, then that's a completely different scenario. We would typically see, I'm saying 9 out of 10 of our team agreements, we add another 25% referral fee. Okay, so team lead generated a lead, gave it to team member, that team member closed it. Team member pays a referral fee to the agent. The team lead gets paid at their split. Okay, And then on the 75% that was the gross left to the team member, the override is still paid to the team lead from that 75%. Everybody get that one? Okay. So really the team lead is getting the 25% at their split plus another, in this case, if it was 70-30, it'd be another 15% of the 75%. And just a reminder to the team member, if Berkshire Hathaway gave you a referral and you closed it, you'd pay 25%, right? If another agent gave you a lead from anywhere around, if Moab referred to St. George, Logan to Salt Lake to Park City, we're paying a referral fee. Okay, so just keep that all in perspective, okay? That's a good way, though, to compensate the team lead on marketing efforts and, frankly, the budget in which they've carved out to pay for those things. Okay,
it also compensates the team lead for the time and effort and their expertise in helping that agent through the transaction. That's part of why we encourage and love teams, because it takes some of the load off the brokers as well and the management, because there's a team lead there running the team and actually acting as their own little brokerage to a large part.
Right. Right. Very, very excellent point, Kev. And frankly, that's why we want you to meet with the manager to say, what am I signing up for? Because we are expecting that there's some mentorship and some oversight from our team leads. Very good point. Thank you for that, Kev. So that kind of takes our team split and our override. Any questions on those?
Yeah, Will, just while we're talking about that too, when I'm talking to team members, I always want one of the team members to be a little bit more experienced that can actually help the other so that they actually can act as a mentor to them. You can't take somebody someplace you're not going yourself, and I think that's important to kind of understand that that's what creates a good symbiotic relationship is if that team leader can actually provide something of value to the team member. But I cringe sometimes when two brand new agents come in and want to form a team. They can't help each other. They're both looking for direction, and just pulling together sometimes is not the best solution to that.
Yeah. Yeah. I again, we're going to bring someone into the team that has a strength where we are weak.
Yes.
This is why our maker so often has attracted to people who are different than us. The yin and the yang. And we wonder how we ever get along because we can sometimes see the world so differently. But it's very true. So yeah, we're going to go look where we are weak often. And I think the only exception to that is that you do want the ability to go on a vacation and unplug, and someone needs to handle your business while you're gone. And so, you do kind of look for somewhat of a copy of yourself in those things. So it's something to consider, different roles, different times. But usually team members are strong where we are weak. Okay, down at the bottom of 202, again, I'm going to we kind of have an idea here. And look, well, I'm just going to say everything that's on my mind. I love this company, you guys. I love the flexibility. I love the fact that we can be intelligent about problems. But we can also be very flexible. Now, this concept here on this paragraph is saying we really don't prefer team leads looking inside of Brookshire and say recruiting people, that are say at lower splits to come underneath team leads. But there's a huge exception to that. So what I'm saying is, I guess it's more about the heart of the matter here on this issue than it is, say, the policy. So let's be smart about what we're trying to solve instead of what the policy is. The policy is saying that if you did do that inside of Brookshire, we would like to have the company dollar on 10 transactions stay the same. So in other words, we wouldn't be carving out that override. But I can, and honestly and transparency, tell you here that we have made an exception to that rule a few times because there was something else that was bigger. You know what it was? I'll tell you. It's pretty simple. We've had agents who are struggling, and they would either leave the business or leave the company unless we found a solution for them. And you know what the solution was? For them to join a team. So in cases like that, You can scratch this one. Okay, just join the team, save the person. Okay, so you kind of get what I'm saying here. If at the heart of it is just to grab company dollar and place under a team lead, we're going to say no to that. But if there's someone struggling, I can think of people. I don't want to call, I know who these people were in the past, and I know a few now. I'm not going to say them, but look, we've got newer agents in this business that struggle, and they need a team around them. And often that is the solution to the problem. So when that's the case, we support it. Okay. But involve your manager. Every situation's a little bit different. There may be some middle ground to some of this. And other times it's just all about the person, and it's an easy decision. So I'm proud to present stuff like that. Like if we want to be granite rigid in policy, I'm telling you, we'll miss people in that. If you put policy over people, you're done. So look, it may sound like, oh, it's not waffling at all. It's showing that our heart is behind people, not policy. But there is an idea here that if we don't want to see grabbing company dollar just to place them under team leads, okay? So talk to your manager about that. Okay, what we really love is that when you go grab someone who's really struggling over at that blue company, that's awesome. Like, they don't like it. They don't like this or that, the other, and you saved them. So we really enjoy that one. So if you're looking for some, good hunting grounds, go look there. And we'll help you. And, Angie Larkin is on. I mean, she's great at helping you recruit and being a great, unlock all the gates and everything that we need, setting up appointments with leadership and all of that. Look, we will completely support your recruiting efforts. Won't we, guys? Craig, Kev, Ange, won't we? I mean, we're behind you. There's part of your team. You have an HR and you have a recruiting arm of your business. If you want to go find somebody outside of Brookshire you think is a great match, we would be more than happy to get behind that and put the whole weight of the power of Brookshire behind that to help you grow your team. Okay. It just seems like it's a little sweeter. I mean, when we go get somebody for some of those teams. But on a personal note, I mean, not that we're laughing about it, but you guys, I've been in those private meetings where agents have really kind of shared their soul about how lost they are, how their hopes are being squashed. What they thought was going to be amazing is not. Their stress levels are very high. They feel like they're failing, and it's very, very, very hard on them. And for us to be, I guess, a haven in an environment that helps grow people, it's very refreshing to them. And it's not lost on us. I want you to know that it's all about the people, and we're committed to helping people. And there's, frankly, I think there's a lot of professionals outside the walls of Brookshire who would just love it here, and they have no idea how great it is here. So if you're building your team and you want to go help somebody that's struggling in another company, we're all behind that. We want better people and good people at Brookshire. So let's open it up to some questions about compensation. We have about 8 more minutes left. Look, all this is kind of written in here. I kind of hope you made notes on what was flexible in policy and what is not. So any questions on just from any of you? Let's open it up. What are your questions about teams? And so it's your turn.
Hey, Will.
Hi, Steve. Go ahead.
Well, okay. Maybe this will be helpful. I was thinking on the compensation side. I know when we formed our team, it was not necessarily the Berkshire Hathaway compensation. It was within the team members, just like with Ann McCoy, Suzanne Harris, and Denna. We had different levels of experience, and we also had different history and listings. And some of us are listers, some of us are selling agents. Also, some of us are maybe not rainmakers as much as marketing people, accounting people, HR. So I think that in our team, we put value also on non-economic issues. If someone was going to head up marketing and accounting, there's value there that you bring to the team. So compensation to a team member can also not be based strictly on production. And I can tell you, our team's been together, 12, 14 years? We have modified our commission splits probably 6, 7 times. Even with our team members, we have modified them. Yeah, based upon whatever the circumstances. And I'm happy to share how things are and what mistakes we have made or how we have improved them. I mean, I think the team concept is terrific. And it's a moving target in so many things.
I think it would be very helpful if you put together mistakes and tips, like the do's and don'ts. I think it'd be.
I don't know if I have a book big enough.
Well, maybe your top 10 would be. Do you guys agree? Would that be very helpful? By the way, just for those of you who don't know, how much GCI did your team do last year? Kevin, do you?
10, 9, I don't know, something like that. Kevin probably knows.
Unmute yourself, Kev. Was it 10?
I don't think I've got the number right in my fingertips, but it was a lot. Let's just say that.
Okay.
It was more than the next closest team.
But anyway, I would just let everyone know. I love Berkshire. I love helping. And if people have questions on teams, call me. I am game.
Yeah, there. Look, I know what. I'm not going to name names here, but one team that was a very dominant member was probably 65% of the GCI, and then they took the remaining 35 and divided it up. It means other 2 members, so that's a 3, realtor team. Steve Chen's team is kind of built with this idea that there's these leaders, and they divided it up. You can do that. I think on a very basic level, we have 2 agents come together that are pretty similar, and they went 50-50. But the thing is, think a little bigger than that, and how this breaks down doesn't always have to be that way. And then if it does end up 50-50, maybe there are some exceptions, like who generated leads and who's paying for those. So, just build a business here. You got to have people to scale. And I think you have to have more people. Well, I've got a quote here that if you want to go, let's see, how did I write it down? It said, if you want to go fast in a short distance, well, buy a C8 Corvette. No. If you want to go fast in a short distance, go by yourself. Okay. Now, if you want to go a long way and sustain that distance, and you want to endure for 12 years, okay, then go with a team. That's business building. One thing that Steve Roney is I've heard people say about him, even outside of our brokerage who know him. Steve Roney is the best team builder. He finds talent, he hires him, he brings him in, shares his vision of what we're trying to accomplish. It's inspiring, and it cements us together, and he builds a great team, and he has built a great team. And, so look, our own captain of our own, ship here at Berkshire Utah Properties is from the same DNA here. So think about building your business and what's your next step, and you already have a team. Building on top of that team is possibly something you should look at. Okay, other questions? We got about 3 minutes.
I realizing that we're already part of the Berkshire Hathaway team, everyone individually, but sometimes partnering can add some additional benefits. But there was a question there from Nick about how to be chosen for a team. And I think that's important. Most team leaders who are looking to add a team member want to find somebody who's going in the same direction they are, that's being successful, that's actually producing, that's actually, demonstrating that they can convert leads and close leads. And they see that it'll be beneficial to both of you to work together. So I think the best way to be attractive to a team is to actually, be producing, go out there and work as hard as if your life depended on it. And somebody will notice and say, hey, I think you're going the same direction I am. I think we can go even faster together, and let's partner up. So I don't think that, so going to somebody saying, hey, I'm failing, please save me is a good strategy. I think it's always work as if everything depended completely upon you. And then, the team comes together, and, there's some symbiotic things that work out there that really help propel both of you.
Yeah. maybe we need like a dating app.
Yeah. Swipe left, swipe right.
Yeah. But, maybe on a very simple, basic thing here at Nick, I'd say if there's somebody that you would hope to work with, I'd say make that known. Go tell them. It may not be time right now. Be respectful of that. Maybe somewhere down the road, it is time. In the meantime, bust your butt and keep doing what you can do. But on this call right now, there are team leads who are probably on this call thinking, yep, I need to add a member or two to my team. And so, you know what? I would say if you want to be a team member on a team or you're thinking about that, I would reach out to team leads and say, I'm a possibility. And I wonder if it's a match. I mean, it may not be. If it is, great, So maybe that's our dating app, is we have these team, who's raise your hand if you need a date. So, okay. Anybody else? Maybe one more question.
I was just going to jump in if I could.
Tom.
Steve Chin's offer to jump in and offer some wisdom to people. I don't think a lot of people that are on this call here have any idea what that means. Steve has been a friend for years and years, and he did onesie twosie deals like everybody else, along with all the other members of his team. And worked his way through, and they getting together like this, they've become an amazingly big group, which we're so proud of them. But if Steve offers to give you a little mentorship or, help you answer a couple of questions, that sort of thing, you really have no idea of the value. And rather than taking up all his time, he really would enjoy, I'm sure, helping you out. So there you go, Steve. I just loaded you up.
Thank you, Tom. And I know Tom would too. Tom and I go back a long ways, and we believe it's not all work, even though we do work. It's like trying to create a good balance. Thanks, Tom.
Oh, you're welcome, Stephen. I would love to help anybody out also. Some help in that regard.
Yeah, Tom would be great. Awesome. Yeah, we'll team help him, Tom.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay, thank you guys, and very well said, Tom. I love this Brookshire family. We have so many great, amazing human beings with amazing character that work in this company. And it's an honor and privilege to be associated with each of you. I really don't feel like I even have to work. I just love what I do every day. So matter of fact, a mentor said to me, if you won the lottery at $100 million, would you still do what you're doing? And I can honestly say yes. I definitely would. I'd be taking you guys on a couple of trips.
Buy a new Corvette.
Sure. I'd have a few of them.
Great.
I definitely have one out the racetrack full time. But hey, let's.
Hey, Britt's got a jewel from Kurt Peterson. What was that jewel that you wanted to share with us, Britt?
Oh, go ahead.
So when I was first talking to the guys about joining Peterson Calder, Kurt gave me this great sandbox analogy. He just said, we want more people in our sandbox. We can all play and have a great time. But if we keep bringing more people in and everybody's playing with the same sand, there's not enough sand. So if you want to come in the sandbox, you got to bring some sand with you. And,
I love it.
Maybe your sand's a little different than my sand or Bronson's or Lincoln's. Whatever it is, it's got to be valuable to the team. And lucky me, ultimately, my sand was a fit. But I did love that mentality. It really took away any sort of sense of entitlement a new agent or an agent seeking help might have, that you really have to find your own value and not expect someone else to find it, and help others understand what that is.
I love it.
Yeah, Britt, that's all.
Thanks, Brett. That's perfect.
Good one. That's great.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, we're all, look, the idea here is we have roles to play, and you're bringing something to the table. You've got something to offer, and everyone has something to offer. Make sure that's communicated well. I think next steps here, guys, is to take the ideas that you've been kind of prompted with and has been circulating your head and act upon something simple. I think many of those answers could be to circle in with your manager and continue the collaboration. How about with your own team that you already have? Big decision in the coaching book. My dad said, look, if you want to be a wise person and you have a big decision to make, involve people who care about the outcome and who love you. So, look at people around you and ask these questions of them, and things will start to percolate and rise to the surface. And then you'll see what those easy next steps are. Okay. Well, this has been a very fast paced 1 hour on a topic that we could spend seriously hours and hours and hours on about leverage in teams. But I hope that was helpful. Please reach out to me. Also, I'm offering, look, I'm here to help. I would love to help you. And we can have more conversations about your business building and what's next for you on whatever side of this you're on. You guys know I love you all, proud of each one of you. I can tell you with 100% confidence, there's people out there who really, really need a Brookshire agent. They're desperate for high level professionalism. So let's go find them, go find them. They need you. And you'll make a great friend in the process while you're at it. It'd be way more than the commission. Okay. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Joe, you can stop.